There is growing international pressure on Israel to stop its planned ground offensive in the Gazan city of Rafah. This as Israel carried out a wave of strikes as it rescued two hostages that were held in Rafah. Joining us live now is RDF Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner. Peter, good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time this morning. So when are you going to launch this operation, this ground offensive in Rafah?
Good morning to you. Indeed, the IDF is conducting its operations in light of our war goals to bring home the hostages, every last one of them, like we did in the early hours of this morning here in Israel, and also to dismantle and destroy Hamas as a governing authority, as a terrorist entity that has caused the most devastating attack against Israel in the history of the country.
But that military...
Our goals...
Sorry, Peter. Yeah, that military operation, I'm just wondering when that's going to be launched.
Obviously, I can't delve into specifics of ground operations for operational security concerns.
Sure.
The reality on the ground is one that throughout this war, in the last 4 months, we have said that we will go wherever Hamas is hiding. We have made it clear that Hamas have not got immunity because they are operating from within the civilian arena. They have actually weaponized the civilian arena, so much so that they are putting the people of Gaza at risk. Our goal is to dismantle and destroy Hamas, to seek out wherever they are, to restore and bring home and rescue the hostages, as we did this morning. And the war goals, the efforts to, and when need be, we will mobilize in order to achieve those goals. Currently, the government has instructed the IDF to devise a plan that will enable us to achieve our goals and at the same time evacuate civilians from harm's way, as we have been doing throughout this whole war.
That's what I wanted to raise with you, because that seems to be the problem here when it comes to Rafah, Peter. You've got about 1.4 million Palestinians stuck there. Most have lost their homes already. Where do they go?
So I think what is really important to emphasize here, we are not in a rush. This war has been going on for 4 months already. And the ultimate goal of dismantling Hamas, of changing the paradigm for the security and safety of all peoples of the region, Israelis and Palestinians alike, is a marathon, not a sprint. So when we are, and if we are instructed to conduct our operation in Rafah area, we will do so as we have throughout the course of this war. We've evacuated extensively in the north of the Gaza Strip, and our operations there are much more limited.
Sure. So
in effect, there could be an evacuation, a re-evacuation towards the north or the center of Gaza Strip.
Well, I mean,
the coastline.
How do you re-evacuate to the north, though? Because there's not much there.
So I would argue that we need to be very, I would say, perhaps do a zoom out on the not much there component that you're implying. I think that the reality on the ground is one where at the end of the day, because it is a war, people will have to choose between alternatives. And the best alternative to evacuate a combat zone is to go to an area which can be designated as a safe zone, a place where you can take refuge for the meantime while Israel is conducting its operations. I think that is the best
What's a safe zone then
to maintain.
In the north, Peter? What's a safe zone in the north?
So I'm not saying that we have designated such. I was just talking hypothetically of the types of activities that we have conducted. What we have seen throughout the course of this war is that where there have been, when we designated a safe zone in the Mawasi area, except for a few sporadic incidents which were a result of Hamas launching rockets from that area, the safe zone was safe. That was a humanitarian zone where the humanitarian goods could reach. Unfortunately, we did not have a partner to bolster the position in the area at the time, and it was created slowly but surely in the reality as the war developed. The reality now means that Hamas cannot be given a free pass because they've taken refuge in Hamas amongst the people that are taking refuge there as well. Hamas have to pay the price. Hamas have to go. I think we are all in agreement that Hamas have to evacuate the position of leadership in Gaza. They have to let all of the hostages go. They have to bring them home. We are creating conditions to bring them home.
You have been strident and consistent in that view. You've got this chorus of criticism, Peter, that's now building, though. You've got the UK, David Cameron, urging you to stop and think, the US, the EU. The Australian Prime Minister coming out yesterday having grave concerns about what's going in Rafah. would you stop and think about it, or is it all systems go? You're pressing ahead.
No, we are constantly listening to our allies, and the reality is, when we are facing the concern or the deliberations whether we should raise a white flag to Hamas and give them a free pass or pursue them wherever they are hiding, I think the answer of any responsible government, and from the military's perspective, our responsibility towards the safety and security of the people of Israel is very clear. I wouldn't say all steams ahead, no, because we have, throughout the course of this war, proven time and time again that we are operating with time on our hand, in a, I would say, very calculated, slow advance, protecting our forces, but also keeping in mind the humanitarian mission as an operational enabler and the right thing to do.
Okay.
So the complexities of this war will continue to accompany us in the coming weeks. There is no quick fix to Hamas that have built their terrorist infrastructure over the last 16 years.
Peter Lerner, thanks for your time this morning. We'll talk to you soon.